Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and tonight I want to talk about smart delivery, Biomutant, and I finally have received my SSD for the PlayStation 5 that I have chosen to upgrade my storage when it is actually available. So let's go ahead and start with the gaming news first. Let's start with the smart delivery and why it's important, why it is definitely a next-gen feature, and why it is above and beyond anything the PlayStation 5 has to offer right now at this very moment. So, as you all know, Biomutant is a new game, a new IP that is coming out, and it will be out on Tuesday. Tuesday is the launch day for it, the 25th. This game is an open-world fantasy RPG. You are... Basically, you get to pick your. I'm gonna say rodent. That might be rude, but basically, you get to pick whatever, like a rodent, and go around the world. And it's like a kung fu, wung fu fighting style. So the developers have basically said that this game is like Ratchet and Clank / Devil May Cry / Zelda Breath of the Wild. If that kind of gives you an idea of like the world. The protagonist, like the size of the protagonist, and that's reference to Ratchet and Clank, with the shooting and stuff like that. Like, this game just sounds pretty freaking cool. Like, I've been following it basically since it was announced, and it's definitely something I want to play. So I did reserve my copy on the Xbox. I was gonna buy the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation version as well, but it wasn't until today that the developers actually announced how these games are going to perform on the next-gen machines while running in backwards compatibility mode. So, those numbers are, we have 4K 60 frames a second on the Xbox Series X running the backward compatible version for the Xbox. On the PlayStation 5, it is 1080p upscaled to 4K at 60 frames a second, running the PlayStation 4 version in backward compatibility mode. Now, this has nothing to do with the developers. Like, this is not because of the developers. This all boils down to smart delivery. So, with the Xbox GDK spanning across PC, Xbox Series consoles, and Xbox One consoles, developers are able to tweak code and put in commands to definitely to be able to get the best performance for each machine, within the single code frame. So whereas on a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 5, both consoles have two specific sets to where there has to be a native version for the PlayStation 5 as well as a native version for the PlayStation 4, and they cannot cross-mingle that code easily to make it so that the PlayStation 4 version will be able to run at a higher resolution, or because basically where it sits is the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro version are probably, they're not native resolution, they're probably using some form of reconstruction, so that when translated over to the PlayStation 5, yes, the PlayStation 5 will be able to run that reconstruction, but seeing as the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro base resolution is 1080p, then upscaled to whatever, it can only use that upscaling. So it can only upscale that picture from 1080p up to 4K, which it will do on the PlayStation 5. You're going to get upscaled 4K from the PlayStation 5 version. This in no way, shape, or form discounts the power of the PlayStation 5. Let me repeat that. This in no way, shape, or form discounts the power of the PlayStation 5, okay? The PlayStation 5 is probably capable of running this game at 4K or close to it and 60 frames per second. So basically what this means is when you get your PlayStation 5, when you get your PlayStation version, you will be able to get a 4K image but you're going to see the reconstruction, and it's probably not going to. It's probably not going to be as good as, say, from upscaling from 1440p or 1800p to 4K. It's going to be. It's going to look a little. I mean, it's going to look a little rough, but it will still look. It'll still look better than a 1080p image on a 4K TV. So, at least you have that. They have also confirmed that we will be getting a next-gen version for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. The Xbox Series S version is going to be running the backward compatible version at 1440p at 30 frames a second, because the Xbox One S is only going to be able to run this game at 900p to 1080p at 30 frames per second. So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the Xbox One S version that will only be able to run dynamically up to 1440p. So, but we are getting next-gen versions of this game. They said, the developers themselves said, in the nearish future, which means that could be any day after launch up to whenever it launches. I don't think it's going to be more than. I don't think it would be more than a couple of months. They're probably just trying to iron out the PS5 version and get everything working and going on that, as well as still touching up the Series X and S versions. So I'm pretty sure development on those systems probably started, maybe toward the end of last year or something. So they've probably just been working on that, maybe a little longer, who knows. Maybe once they were clued in, about these systems, they were able to start working on that code, but everything was already built for the base consoles. So yeah, I would expect that, and me personally, I expect that upgrade to be free. Seeing as Microsoft, will be able to, Xbox will be able to use the smart delivery. I'm pretty sure these developers want to have. I'm pretty sure these guys are going to want to have good faith. If somebody buys their game, they're going to want to be able to upgrade that game for free. I don't know if they're going to go the whole route like, well, in 2 years, if you buy the game, you're going to get a free upgrade if you upgrade to a PS5 or Xbox in 3 years. I think they should do it, within 90 days of the game being out, for sure. Well, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of messed up because people are still having a hard time getting these new consoles. So, yeah, I don't know what kind of upgrade path they're going to go with, but I'm hoping that it is a legitimate one, because, if you're paying $60 for this game right now, then you should be able to upgrade, if you have a next-gen system right now, you should be able to upgrade for free no matter what. I think that should definitely be the case. There is always that chance that you might have to pay an extra $10 or something for it. They're doing that with Wreckfest, and that's THQ published, so that might be the case. Fingers crossed. This game is newer and should have a next gen version coming out soon. So if they would put a date on it, maybe then you would hold off, to buy it or whatnot. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a free upgrade. I'm pretty confident that it's going to be a free upgrade. So this is exactly why smart delivery is extremely important for this generation. Like, I have to give props to Microsoft for thinking ahead and making this ecosystem complete and making this ecosystem complete and forward and backward compatible. So that means that, technically with Xbox's GDK, if they find new technologies that would still work on past generation consoles, and they can still get games running, at, like, say, 900p, 30 frames a second on last gen hardware, moving forward on next gen games, I don't see why they shouldn't allow that to be produced still. I think that's a good idea. You go back to Dirt 5 at the beginning of this new generation, and it, coming out on last gen console still. Like, I remember turning that on my Xbox One X, and oh my gosh, that game looked better than any racing game I have seen on the Xbox to date. And that's because of smart delivery. They were able to share code across both these games, so you could basically get all the good stuff from next gen in a little bit. Actually, you know what? That game was running pretty nice. It looked 4K. Um, it doesn't. It honestly does not look that much different than what we ended up getting on next gen versions. I bought it on PS5 and Xbox Series X, so I have both versions. And my gosh, I'm telling you, dude, that Xbox One X version was pretty close to what we got moving forward. So basically, I'm saying is I don't think we've seen the full power of the Xbox One X, and I do think that developers could still support that device as well as the Xbox One longer into this new generation because of smart delivery. It's an amazing feature. Like, I am so freaking stoked that we were able to get that is smart. That is smart for Microsoft to be able to do that. So this generation moving forward, I'm sure Microsoft's not going to be like, oh yeah, you have to develop for last gen. I doubt that. But if developers choose to port their code to last gen seamlessly through smart delivery, they can still continue to make money from that install base moving forward without all the extra hard work. I mean, they build games for the next gen, and then they see what works and what doesn't work on last gen. And if they can actually get a product that's sellable, that's playable, that is, nice enough to put back. I mean, because I know the Xbox One X has got enough power to keep running stuff a little bit, further into this generation. Probably, I would say at least 3 years. I'd say they at least got 3 years, maybe even 4, that they'll be able to port games back to last generation to continue to make money in that ecosystem. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting. And this right here, this Biomutant, this really just shows how forward-thinking smart delivery actually is. You look at PlayStation 5 backward compatible games, that are getting updates, from Sony and stuff, and we're basically getting 60 frames a second. But I mean, somebody on Twitter today made a good point, and I will give them that, because it is kind of disappointing that when these games do get FPS boost, they are losing out on that 4K resolution that Xbox One X had. So that is disappointing. I wish that they could save that. I mean, but if they're going all the way up to 120 frames a second on some of these games, I mean, I kind of get it, But I would prefer, to be able to just hit that 60 and keep my 4K resolution intact. That would be better for me in the long run. So I do get that. Like, I do hear that, and I get that. And some games, not all games are doing that. Some of them are still keeping their 4K and getting 60 frames or higher. But on PlayStation, basically, with these games that have just won, like, Game of the Year and stuff like that, we're getting a basic 60 frames per second upgrade. Now, I will be fair to Sony, because in their tweet when they announced that upgrade for The Last of Us 2, they did say something that they're exploring other technologies to bring more to resolution and stuff like that. So that would be cool if they could do that. It would be very smart and wise of them to do that and allow third-party developers to also be able to participate in that, so that they can upgrade their games for, make it more of a seamless transition. Like with Xbox, if you buy the Xbox One version and you're playing on your Xbox Series X, and then you upgrade to the Series S, and then you download that game and start playing it, it automatically downloads the best version for the Xbox Series S or NX, and it transfers your save right over, like right where you left off. No problem. You're right where you were. It is such a seamless experience that, yeah, I do not understand how PlayStation can call PlayStation 5 a next-gen console, but it can't do basic stuff like upscale your game better like the Xbox does. Yeah, I mean, I've been a PlayStation guy my whole life, like ever since the first PlayStation. I love my PlayStation. I love my PlayStation first-party games. It's just little things like this that are like, come on, Sony, like what were you guys thinking? Like, how is this even how is this even possible? How is this even a thing? You know, I don't get it. And then that brings us to, you know, why I chose the Samsung 980 Pro 1 terabyte SSD for the storage expansion in my PlayStation 5. I firmly believe that that slot should already be unlocked. I think that if you have something that's not compatible with the PlayStation 5 games, you should still be able to plug in any NVMe M2 drive and still be able to access at least that for the PlayStation 4 games that you have. I don't understand why this drive is still locked, or why this bay is still locked, unless there's something, you know, that's preventing it from actually being usable. You know, I've been hearing rumors about, you know, there being a heating problem or not being able to cool the M2 drive. Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that they really need to let us know what's going on, because, yeah, it's been 6 months now, over 6 months, and yeah, we need to know. I'm already out of space on my PlayStation 5, and that there is definitely preventing me from buying more games on my PlayStation 5. So 1 terabyte, I've got, gosh, what have I got on there? 10 games already on my PlayStation 5 memory. So if I got 10 games on 667, yeah, I don't know. I mean, 1 terabyte's probably not even enough to get what else I need on there. But I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with that video. We're about 16 minutes long already. So I really appreciate you watching, and for everybody that's subscribed lately. Like, that's really awesome. Like, you guys are making me very happy. This channel is growing faster than I thought it was going to. And I really appreciate that, and I want to be able to create content that's going to help you and push the medium forward. I have, like I said, I've been a gamer for 35 years, since I was 5 years old. I've managed a retail store, Game Crazy. You know, I did that for a while, and you know, so I mean, I've been in this like a lot of you guys have for a long time, and you know, as I got older, I just started, you know, trying to rely on, you know, other people, you know, to give me that review. And for the most part, I've been satisfied with that, but you know, there's a lot of stuff that I don't want to see spoilers. I don't want to see gameplay in the review. I want just somebody to talk about it and not complain consistently about the game and things they don't like. Like, I just want to know, you know, for the most part, you know, does it look good? Does it play good? Is the story all right? You know, I mean, is it coherent? Stuff like that. And so, I mean, I do get that I have complained about a couple games like Returnal, like that. That makes me mad because it doesn't look like a $70 game. Like, it feels pretty good, but it doesn't look like a $70 game to me. And that's you know, a part of it. You know, you're not just going to walk up to somebody you're not attracted to and like start a full-time relationship with them. No, I mean, you'd have to get to know them first, but if they don't look good, you're not going to stop, and you're not, yeah, you know what I mean? And nothing was there to indicate that game did not look up to par. So I don't believe it was worth the $75 that I paid for that experience. But like I said, I do appreciate you guys, and if you want to see more content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.